This week we've been covering rotations, reflections, and translations. In addition, this week we're also going to be covering dilations. Now, number one on your study guide, what type of transformation is shown here? Any of these transformations that we're talking about, whether they be translations, rotations, or reflections, these are called transformations. And what it's asking you is what's happening here below. And it might be a little bit hard for you to see, but here we have triangle A, B, and C. And now we have A prime, B prime, and C prime. This new triangle was basically made from doing something to the first one. And what it's asking you basically, is that a translation? Is that a rotation? Or is that a reflection? Well, here we can see that this triangle appears to be rotating or turning around point A. Therefore, the answer is a rotation. Number two, if triangle XYZ above is reflected over the y-axis, what will be the coordinates of the vertices of this image? Let me switch over to my smaller pen here so we can get a little bit of finer point. What you have to make sure you understand is we were reflecting this. We're reflecting this over the y-axis, so we're basically taking this guy and moving it over like this. We're going to take this triangle and flip it over here. Okay. So basically it's going to be like a mirror image of it, but it's going to be a little bit backwards. And the easiest way to do this is just to take a look at where any one of the points are. You can start anywhere. Well, X appears to be 2 points over right here from the y-axis. So just go 2 points over here. And since we're flipping it over here, this is going to be Z prime. Z prime. This guy is going way over here. This guy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places from the y-axis. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put our other point there. And then X up here. This is 1 place over from the y-axis, and our other point is going to be right there. And what the question is asking us here is, what will be the coordinates, or what will be the ordered pairs for this image? Okay, well, let's go ahead and connect the dots. Now, we don't have to do that necessarily, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And by the way, I'm sorry, this is Y prime, and this is X prime. Don't forget your little apostrophe there. Okay. Now, let's go in order of X, Y, and Z. The ordered pair for X is going to be, and of course we do X first and then Y, it's going to be negative 1, 3, negative 1, and 3. And remember here we're asking what the coordinates are, and that's the same thing as an ordered pair. There's always 2. Y is going to be negative 6 and negative 2. So we got negative 6, negative 2. And then finally we've got Z, which is at negative 2, negative 2. Okay. Now remember, when we're talking about a reflection, we're basically taking a look at this guy and flipping it over here. Now if you can imagine in your head, if we wanted to color this real dark, now if we folded it over here, it would show up on the same side. If we're reflecting it over the y-axis, the line of reflection is the y-axis. That's where we're flipping over. You don't have to do it on the y-axis. You can do it on the x-axis. Or you can do it at this line right here, or this line right here, and of course it'd be a little bit further over that way. Number 3. Suppose the triangle XYZ above is translated, and translation is nothing but a fancy word for slide, to form triangle X prime, Y prime, Z prime, with point Y prime at the origin. Now remember, origin, the origin in this case, the origin of a coordinate plane is 0, 0. Okay. Which best describes this translation? So basically we're saying we're going to slide this guy. We're going to slide this guy over to where this Y is going to end up here. Well, remember, we would have to go over this way a little bit and this way a little bit. Or we could go this way and this way. Either one would be just fine. Now, most of these are going to be multiple choice, so it should be fairly obvious what you're doing. But you're saying, look, we've got this y, and we're not going to twist it, we're not going to flip it or anything like that. All we're doing is translating it, we're just sliding it. And what you do to y, you will naturally do to x and y. So therefore, if we're going to move this whole thing over here, or to where y is here, we have to figure out what we need to do to make that happen. So all we need to do is move this entire triangle, and all you need to do is look at the point that they're asking you about. Move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the left. Move 6 places to the left. Well, then what do we got to do? We're not at the origin yet, we're here. We got to move that y. We've moved it 6 places to the left. Now we got to move it 2 places up. 2 places up. And now what you'll have, and you can also plot these others by looking at this. You can say, well, where would the z prime go? Well, we just move it 6 places over to the left and 2 places up as well. You can do the same thing with x to figure out where your entire new triangle is going to be. Okay. Basically, what this question is asking you to do is, I want to move this whole triangle such that I'm going to move it over and up to where the y is going to be at the origin, or 0, 0. Now I could say I'm going to move it over to where y is going to end up at coordinate point -1, 1. And you'd have to tell me how you need to do that. Use the coordinate plane for questions 5 and question 6. If rectangle WXYZ is reflected across the x-axis, you got to make sure you're looking at where they're telling you to reflect it. Now remember, a reflection is the same thing as a flip. Boop, boop. You're going to take this guy from here and go down like that. And your x, or your x prime, instead of being on top now, because we're not sliding it, remember we're flipping it, is going to be on bottom. The W is going to be on bottom, and now the y prime and z prime are going to be on top. If rectangle WXYZ is reflected across the x-axis to form triangle W prime, X prime, Y prime, Z prime, what will be the coordinates for point Z? Okay. Well, ask yourselves a question. If we're going to flip this guy down here, how far away? First of all, let's take a look at y. Let's just say y. How far away is y from the x-axis? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can know that y is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And let's go ahead and label that y prime. X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's label that x prime. Z is 4 from the origin, 4 from the x-axis, so we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be Z prime, and then W prime is 2 below that. And we can go ahead and connect the dots if we want to. Now, we really don't necessarily have to do all this. We do know that new point X, and all that means when you say X prime is that it's the new X after we've done what they've asked us to do. And that is going to be this point right here. And the question is asking us, what will be the coordinates, or what will be the ordered pair for it? Well, of course, we look at X first. X is 5, -6. 5, -6. There's your answer. Next question. If the rectangle is rotated 180 degrees clockwise around or about point Z, so in other words, this guy right here, this point is not going to move. We're going to rotate that, or turn that guy. We're going to take that dude and say, whoop. We're going to turn around one full turn, or I say half a turn. We're going to turn around half a turn. We're going to turn that guy halfway around, like so, to where the X is still here. And you basically